Oh, hello. Ladies and gentlemen. How are you? This is the very first time in my life that I've had to come to the Eacc Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. It's a commission formed and is embedded in our constitution. Let me start by saying that I was not here to be grilled, so I don't have any pending corruption issues that I was here specifically because of the challenges that I have with the Supreme Court. Some Supreme Court judges have called, I must say, some Supreme Court judges have written to the Chief Justice as I wait for a reply. It was important that I share some of the issues of ethical violations and possible corruption matters involved in this case to the relevant authority, the Eacc. I was very privileged to be received by the chairman of the commission, Bishop Dr. David Ogindo, and he's given me sufficient time to explain and also giving certain reports which will remain, which is the Supreme Court of Kenya, by filing what I would consider cases before their juniors. These are juniors that they supervise. The High Court judges are supervised administratively by the Supreme Court and the President of the Supreme Court. So those are the issues that we are discussing here. But also I brought the case of one James Kibitu. I've not met him. James Kibitu is a man who set himself ablaze in the steps, on the steps of the Supreme Court. Now, when a Kenyan sets themselves ablaze at the steps of the Supreme Court of Kenya, it is enough reason to be concerned. Why did he set himself ablaze? What is the case? What is the frustration that he's going through? And I think you as journalists know what happened 15 years ago in Tunisia when a young man who was a fruit vendor in the streets of Tunisia was being harassed by city authorities. He set himself ablaze, and by extension, the country burned. There was a revolution in Tunisia which resulted in the Arab Spring. So I take this very seriously. It may be just one person who has set themselves ablaze, but that shows you, demonstrates to you the level of frustrations of Kenyans with what is happening in the judiciary, and I lay the blame directly on the Supreme Court of Kenya because that's the apex court. They have the power to condemn you to death, and you have nowhere else to appeal. And God help you if they reach this conclusion to sentence you to death when they are under the influence of alcohol or anything like that. Thank you very much. I'll take this.
Thank you very much.
First, I'd like to say very clearly that my case at the JSC was filed in April last year. That's 11 months ago. April 2024. So if anybody was using me, then they were using me from April 2024. Of course, that is total nonsense. Number two, I saw comments by one senior Kenyan, a person with whom I have a history at a family level and the work front, one Kiretu Murungi. He said that my case is private. My case is about paying a loan to the bank. And why should this become a matter that should put the Supreme Court judges on the spot? Maybe you are too young to remember or to know that there was a radical surgery on the judiciary under the supervision of the same Kiretu Murungi, in which some very respected judicial officers, Justice Otieno White and Justice Anawa, were removed under his supervision as the Minister for Constitutional Affairs. I don't know what has changed when attacking Supreme Court, unless it is within the philosophy of don't touch the mountain. You can imagine if in this country, those of us who are leaders start talking about don't touch the lake, or don't touch the ocean, or don't touch water, where will that leave this country? So I think it is very, very sad that he made those statements. I wish he called me, I wish he read the letter, because the person I've known for a long time. He was minister under President Kibaki, and I was there. Let me just say, to finish, on the issue as to whether this is a private matter of me taking a loan and I should deal with that, I want to tell my friend Honorable Kiretu Murungi that he is very lucky. He's been a governor and therefore doesn't have loans and fuliza like ordinary Kenyans like me. It is a matter of principle as far as I'm concerned. I'd rather be having challenges with a bank than having challenges coming to Eacc, protecting myself from corruption. I never made a request for removal of charges. But whatever case I had, I presented it to the Judicial Service Commission. What the judges are doing is that they don't want to reply to the accusations are made against them at the Judicial Service Commission. So they have gone to court to stop the Judicial Commission from getting their response. The question I'm asking is that why are they afraid to respond? In fact, I'm not even saying that whatever accusations I made at the Judicial Service Commission were right. If they are hot air, they should be dismissed as such. But I should be heard, and for 11 months I have not talked about those things, because whatever is before the Judicial Service Commission is sub judice. I should not talk about it. But some of the judges have gone public and talking about these cases, which they themselves have brought before the before the High Court, and that case is before the Judicial Service Commission. They are judges. They should not be talking about it. I'm only talking now because if they have decided to go public with it, then I should also go public. But I'm still affording them some amount of dignity by not telling you the details of what is before the Judicial Service Commission, because that is the forum in which the evidence I've adduced should be interrogated.
Labda kwa Kiswahili mimi naitwa
Kusema ni kwamba wakati tulipoenda katika JSC, wale ambao ni Justice Ibrahim and Justice Wanyana. So Justice Lenaola hayuko katika hiyo kesi yake kule JSC, na Chief Justice Martha Koome hayuko katika hiyo kesi ambacho nikunacho pale JSC. Ya pili ambacho umeuliza ni kwamba
nature of evidence.
Yes, nimekuwa na mkutano na chairman wa Eacc na nimemweleza umenipatia evidence fulani ya misconduct ya yale ambayo nafikiria kama EACC ni vizuri wachunguze, lakini hawakunipatia. Wamenieleza kwamba watachunguza, lakini hawakunipatia watachunguza kwa muda gani. Kwa hivyo labda mnaweza kuuliza.
Maybe because you want to know, because these are public officers who are...
I felt could be shared is in my open letter. In my open letter to the Chief Justice. You may have noticed, and I think I do have it here, you may have noticed that in that letter I talk about certain communication between me and the judiciary previously. So there was a communication in February 2024 in which the judiciary themselves responded. I've not made this public in the interest of fairness and dignity of the Supreme Court. There are a few other communications that I've received from the Chief Justice on this case, and I think it is only fair that I don't give that to the press, so that I don't scandalize people maliciously. All I'm saying, I've accused you, yes. The JSC has written to you to respond. Then you don't want to respond, you go to court so that you don't respond. Why are you hiding? Thank you very much. Very important question you have asked. First of all, in my petition, I never asked for them to be removed. That was not my prayer. Number two, when they decided to recuse themselves, I never asked them to recuse themselves because I knew of the quorum issues that a recusal from themselves would generate. All right? So why did they recuse themselves? By the time they're recusing themselves, the evidence and the affidavit which was before them had been recanted by bank officials. So there was no case. So and then they, just as a matter of law, really, if you recuse yourself, you don't give a back pass. You put your pen down and you say we recuse ourselves, take this thing to the Chief Justice so that the Chief Justice can decide on a way forward. But they recused themselves, and then after recusing themselves, they said, by the way, we rule in favor of the bank. So they should not have ruled in favor of the bank if they recused themselves. One of the things I complained about, because I put that in the letter and I repeat it, is that they said, we see your point, Mr. Tuju. We think you have a point. We're going to continue with this looking at your case. But in the meantime, you can give your properties to the bank, and if the bank sells them, the bank is so rich they can always compensate you. That is like to say, we can kill you, you can be executed, but in the event that we've made a mistake in our judgment, you can always be brought back to life. That was last year. There was no politics then. So why anybody wants to politicize it now is very sad.
Honorable Tuju, has EACC given you any timelines how they will respond?
No, they have not given me any timelines. I must say I was very grateful. They listened very carefully. I gave them very important information, not on this case, but also on other information that I've now received. You know, the moment this went into the media, my email address on my phone is full of tips from people complaining, oh, somebody has done this, somebody has done that. And it's outrageous. I didn't want to talk about them on the media. And I've given them all that information so that they can investigate. But my email address, my phone is full of so many cases of aggrieved Kenyans. And I've just compiled them and given it to them. And I'll continue to do that and give it to them because that is their responsibility to investigate the malfeasance by civil servants.
And last question, are you by this guy?
I've been a cabinet minister before, and I was never told. And at the moment, I only see this in the social media, and I think it is very good entertainment.
Do you trust JC Waziri? Waziri?
But they are constitutional institutions, and as a country which wants to live within the context of the law, we must respect our institutions. When I was accused wrongly and summoned to DCI, I obeyed. Only that DCI, after investigations, found that those bank officials were lying, and now they're facing criminal charges. Thank you.